I'm 24 years old. I'm the youngest council member not only in Hialeah, but I'm the youngest elected official in Miami-Dade County. I was born and raised here in Hialeah, Cuban parents. I'm a product of the public school system. I went to North Twin Lakes Elementary, Palm Springs Middle, and Westland Hialeah Senior High. I graduated in 2015, and I was awarded a full ride scholarship to attend Harvard University. That's where I studied for 4 years. I studied political science and Italian. I graduated from Harvard, and I do an internship at the White House internship program, learning the intricacies of government for over 3 months. And at that point in time, I decided I wanted to return to the city of Hialeah, my hometown. Growing up, I had a lot of great teachers in our schools, and I remember one in particular would always say, go off to the best school that you can get into, but then come back and help your community. I think that's very important as we talk about, and we'll get later into it, young people in our city leaving town, but hopefully we can attract them to come back and make a life here. But anyways, so I come back to Hialeah and I enroll in law school at FIU Law. I'm currently a third-year law student there, so I'll be graduating this year. And that has given me a great experience, not only on the government side of things, but now on the law side, the legal aspect of all the things that we do here at the City Council. I've also worked in numerous campaigns here in the local, not only Hialeah, but the greater South Florida area. And I was motivated to run last year for the 2021 elections. There was a vacancy in our City Council, and I thought it was important that we have women on the council, we have various professions, but it's always good to have a young person there. It's a different viewpoint. And so I decided to run. It was a hard-fought campaign, but I came out ahead in the November election, and now I'm sitting here as your council member. Yeah, again, Hialeah is my hometown, and I've always been interested in service generally. When I was in high school, I remember, I had the highest number of community service hours. I was always, whether it was food banks, whether it was helping out the elderly. This was way before COVID. And I've always thought it's important that, life gives you certain skills, and everybody has, certain talents, certain abilities. I've always found good home in public speaking and advocating for other people. And so what better position than within the City Council to be able to advocate for issues. And we have a lot of them, and I think it's just a matter now of working diligently to try to solve some of those issues, and we can get into that. But issues like tenancy, issues like water, affordability, they're very important for our city, and we just need good advocates to try to solve these problems. Yeah, so I've only been here a couple months, as you know, but in that short time, I was able to get together a piece of legislation that was passed at our last council meeting in mid-January. This was a water resolution. Water is the #1 issue right now, I think, facing our city and our residents. It is by no means an easy problem to deal with. It is multi-layered. It not only deals with things that we do here in the city, but also cost pass-throughs through the county. It deals with things like reverse osmosis and desalinization. It's complicated, and it requires a certain nuance, but it was a challenge that I think needed to be tackled head-on. And so I crafted this piece of legislation with the help of our mayor as well as the members of the City Council. And this piece of legislation basically is trying to set out a two-set approach to this problem. Part one is going to be identifying funds, whether that's through grants, whether that's through legislations at the state and federal level, to be able to lower water costs. That's the end result that we want. And the second part of it is, how do we lower water costs? Because there's certain rates that we can't go down on because it's the county charging us as a city to pass-through rate. But we can be a little bit more efficient when we talk about metering, when we talk about incorporating technology in the way that we do the whole process of billing people. And so if we can create these efficiencies, then we'll be able to lower water costs. And so over the next couple months, probably all the way to the summer, we're going to be holding workshops for the public. They're going to be around the city. We'll have some here in City Hall. We'll have some in my land, or we'll have some at various parks, with the idea of talking about this issue, informing residents, and then us as a city identifying out of all the programs that have been laid out in this piece of legislation, which are the programs that we're going to greenlight and approve. And hopefully by the end of the year, we can meet that goal, which is to lower water costs to our residents. Listen, I think there's 101 things that we can look at, and there's only so much time. Like you said, it's a 4-year term. So I think, and I foresee that this year is going to be very heavy on water, but I do have other priorities. I think, as we were talking about before, young people in our city, and even people of working class and elderly folks. It affects everyone. This issue of rent increases that's affecting our community is huge, and we're going to have to, look at any ways that we can try to keep costs at bay for renters and hopefully lower costs, if at all possible. We're going to have to examine other things like transportation and traffic. I mean, we are growing exponentially as a city. We have, as residents will know, buildings going up all over town. We need to connect these, and we need to have a real way to move around, at least within Hialeah. We can't promise we can do it countywide, but at least within Hialeah, and other cities have done it, like Doral, where we can have a network of trolleys or whatever you have to get people moving within our city. So I think that's going to be important. I think we're going to need to also look at, just the basic services of garbage, police, fire, ways to become more efficient, to be more data-driven, to incorporate technology. So I think over the next 4 years, you have a plan of things you want to do, and then, something always happens, right? Like COVID, nobody could foresee. So you also have to maintain an area of flexibility when you're looking at all these topics, and you also have to listen to the residents. At the end of the day, they're the ones that voted us in office. And so whatever their concerns are, over the next 4 years, those are going to be my concerns, my priorities. The city of Hialeah is growing, it's thriving. There's a lot of words that are being used out there, like Hialeah is the Brooklyn of Miami. I'm not sure that that's accurate, but it does highlight a very important thing, and that is that our city is very poised within Miami-Dade County to be a leader and innovator like it's never had been before. We're seeing the growth in the annex area and how we're getting thousands upon thousands of new homes built. We're getting industries and major companies like Boeing to come out to the city of Hialeah. So we are open for business, and we want to make that process, if you want to open up a business here, if you want to live here, as easy as possible. We maintain one of the lowest taxes in Miami-Dade County, and I think as a city, there's a lot of youth, a lot of desire for innovation. So I think that's an exciting place to live in, and so I would always give the plug to please come to Hialeah.